Good morning, good afternoon, and evening, baseball fans. Welcome back to the Power Ranking panel, a Monday morning Barstool baseball show brought to you by, I don't know, some of the smartest guys I know in baseball. This week, it's Chris Castellani, it's Chris Klemmer, and myself, Carl. Hubs is out on assignment right now, scouting minor league baseball players for the show for a detailed episode to come later. Hubs, thank you very much for taking on that field assignment. Boys, before I say anything, Angels fucking won a game last night, 25 to like. Should we just send the Rockies to London and leave them there?
Yes.
Yeah, that was something else. I mean, the Eduardo Escobar effect is real. His first game with the Angels, and he ended up scoring 4 runs, and he's taken out of the game. Two guys had 5 hits, right? Moniak and somebody else. I'm forgetting right now. I'm sorry. Insane. They were 3 hits away from the all-time record for most hits in a 9-inning game. It's the most runs in Angels history. Just absolutely stunning. It's also, they broke a record. It was the first time ever a team had scored 20 runs in 2 innings back to back. Like, this never happened before. So absolute history at Coors Field yesterday.
And the great irony of all this is Shohei Ohtani was like kind of a non-factor. Like he had one hit. Trout got pulled in the 4th inning, as did a few other guys just because it was such a blowout. I mean, it's good for the Angels who lost, they lost a heartbreaker the night before. It seems like they've done a good job of bouncing back after some difficult defeats this year. But like, I just feel bad for Rockies fans, dude. And people, I got tweeted at last night saying, you
Who are they?
Oh, dude, they for that park, they fill that park pretty well for a team that sucks. I mean, there's a fan base there, and it's not like they've been void of good players. And I got a million tweets last night being like, you can't criticize the Rockies because you're a Tigers fan. I sure as fuck can. All right, they've been either rebuilding. They've been simultaneously rebuilding and in win now mode for like 6 years. Like they have no idea what they're doing, and that's why you lose games 25-1. So I mean, it sucks for them. It sucks for those fans, but Angels, that'll definitely help the run differential at the end of the year, I feel like.
Can you build a winner in Colorado? So, they've been doing this for 30 years. They did make a World Series once.
Yeah.
There has been no pitcher in their entire history who has been successful for any real period of time. Yeah, even Kyle Freeland, who's a great pitcher, look at his home road splits. I think his ERA is like 7 in Coors Field. It's atrocious. So
what about Jeff Francis? Wasn't Jeff Francis a great pitcher for just a sliver for long enough to say Jeff Francis?
I want to say his ERA was over 5 for his career. I'll check right now. I want to say that it didn't go well long term. For a season he was good.
He had one good year.
Kind of thing.
Okay, he had a top 10 Cy Young finish for the Rockies in 2007. Otherwise, no. And you know what? That's more of a trivia question. Your point is right. The fact that Jeff Francis is a name that I am using to look at the other side of your argument is exactly why you are 100% correct.
Yeah, Jeff Francis, by the way, lifetime with the Rockies, 4.96 ERA. And you're right, Carl. And he's one of the best, right? Like, so I remember, so I'm old enough to remember, I know you guys might not be, but when the Rockies became a team. And I remember all the discussion around that time. Like, all right, who's getting a team? I know the Major League Baseball really wanted a team in Florida, so they picked the Marlins. And, I wonder if we should have had, back then, there should have been more discussion about is Denver a place baseball should happen. Because I don't know, it fucks with the stats. Denver certainly is a market that deserves baseball, but I just don't know if the area itself is good for baseball, if that makes any sense.
I think
so. I understood it at the time that they wanted to bridge a gap with time zones. There was like, it's also a place where they wanted to get into kind of the Utah market without getting into the Utah market directly, I thought. Because there was a gaping hole between
No, you're right,
St.
Carl.
Louis and San Diego.
It's just for some, obviously just the ball, Denver Broncos, they've been very successful, obviously. It doesn't really, the kickers can kick longer field goals, but it doesn't really play a major role, I don't feel. Colorado Avalanche, obviously hockey's not going to be affected too much by it, other than, maybe having a hard time catching your breath. But, the baseball is really affected, and to a point where it hurts the team. It hurts them. It hurts the home team. I don't know. It's a mess.
I would say to answer your question, Klemmer, you can build a successful team there long term, but you need an insanely intelligent analytics department, which by all accounts is something they don't have. You need an analytics department that knows everything about their pitchers and how pitchers can be successful in Colorado. It's a very difficult field to navigate through because no free agent pitcher in their right mind is signing in Colorado. You might get a few stragglers, but you cannot build through free agency with your pitching, meaning you have to build through your system. And to their credit, they tried. I mean, they had that little core there with Freeland and Senzatella and Marquez and John Gray. And they got to the playoffs a few times with that core, but it's just long term, it's really hard to sustain it there.
They did it with free agency once, and it was a giant failure. One off season, they went and got Mike Hampton and Denny Nagel.
Well, I thought you were talking about the second time. I thought you were talking about the second time they did it when they built the super pen, when they got Wade Davis and they got somebody else.
The Nagel Hampton thing was a big deal at the time, and they overpaid for both guys to get them to go there. And Hampton had his first half there was good, and then flamed out. Nagel was horrible from the outset, and then being caught with a prostitute a couple of years later. That was just a disaster. And you're right, Chris. I don't know how what if you got all sinker ball pitchers and had a great defensive infield? Could that work? I don't know. I'm just I'm spitballing ideas because I don't know.
Okay, so there's a great conversation with Zach Gallen where he talks about why he's effective in Colorado. And this is what happens when people talk about Colorado is we're like kind of around the point, but not really getting to, like a sinker baller. Okay, well, the ball doesn't sink as much at that elevation. So a sinker baller is just inherently not as effective. So if you understand a guy to be a great sinker baller, like, boom, put him in Colorado, that pitch just does not really exist in Colorado. A lot of cut fastballs. You get to Colorado, they're just fucking dead ass forcing fastballs. The changeup, a changeup that you can aim at the bottom corner, the back of the plate. You have to aim it at, 6 inches in front of the plate because the changeup's just going to carry way more. And there's all these little adjustments that pitchers will tell you, until you've made 10, 15, 20 starts in Colorado, or unless you're it's very hard to just show up to Colorado. Which is why I think a lot of starters in Colorado, their splits aren't awful, are they?
Yeah.
If you look at
they're bad.
When you get on meaning if I pitch regularly for the Rockies, and I have experience pitching at Coors Field, I understand that to be you've built yourself an advantage. Your splits get better over time. It's much harder for pitchers than it is easier for hitters, is my point. People just think the fucking ball flies or whatever.
Right.
It's actually because the pitchers struggle so much and their stuff's so fucking different. So to your point of I like what Chris said, you have to understand everything about the pitcher. I think it's more to the environment. I don't know how much they know about that environment or how much they coach guys up in player development then to succeed in that environment. You might have to really be the Colorado Rockies. You might have to throw out a 5-man rotation. Just get real weird with your pitching staff. Just completely abandon the concept of a 5-man rotation. Because why the fuck do they run guys out there all the time that have no business being major league starters?
Yeah, that is a fair point. They're in a position where they need to think smarter and not harder, which is I don't understand it, and I'd have some sympathy for it. But if you're trying to bottom out and rebuild this thing, cool. Don't sign Chris Bryant. You fucking idiots.
Yeah.
All
right. So I also should say we're going to go down this fucking path here, guys. This is a Power Ranking show.
Yeah.
Anybody who showed up as a Braves fan or a Rays fan, does not want to hear Colorado Rockies rebuild talk. So we just want to acknowledge that the Angels beat the fucking shit out of them. So let's get this train back on track. Batting order is going to be Klemmer 1, Castellani 2. I'll go 3. And since we already spent about 10 minutes on that bullshit, let's get this party started. And I hate to be mean like this, but this is
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we're not going to solve any problems in Denver, the three of us anyway. Okay. Going to go with Tampa Bay here, number 1. Now, this is very close. This is, as I knock my soda over, don't worry, I had a cap. I was very close with this. I went back and forth a little bit. And finally, I'm like, all right, am I just doing this to be different or to scratch the record? The Rays are the better team, but maybe by next week we might be in a different situation. It's very close. It's funny with these two teams. The strengths are almost exactly the same. They both have a very deep lineup where almost everybody has an OPS plus of over 100. I think the Braves have 8 guys on up. The Rays have 7. It's just there's no easy outs. It explains all their success offensively. Both teams do very well in their rankings in their respective leagues. Pitching wise, and this is the reason I'm going to give it to the Rays. And I know he just got hurt, so maybe it's foolish for me, but Shane McClanahan is better than every pitcher the Braves have right now in the starting rotation. He's the true ace. So in theory, if they were to face each other in a series and McClanahan is healthy, I might give a slight edge to the Rays just because you'd have McClanahan going a couple of times in that series. It's very close. These two teams are fantastic. It's very cool to have 2 great teams in each league. I think that's kind of exciting as a baseball fan. It's like, all right, wow, we have our heavy hitters in each league. Now you definitely have guys kind of fighting for that crown. But the Rays, we talk about it all the time. One guy we haven't talked about is Jason Adam. He's their closer. He's got 11 saves this year. He's 31 years old. Obviously, I think, Carl, you probably know him pretty well. Pitched a couple years with the Cubs. I don't know. I think it's just kind of cool to have a guy who had a huge year last year in relief. The Rays obviously worked him out. He had an ERA of a 1.5 last year. And then then they give him the closer job. He's been pretty good.
Yeah, he wasn't outstanding with the Cubs, but this is what the Rays do. They just get you. They find out a pitch they like. Now, he's got some weird combination between his two-seam fastball, his changeup, and in a slider that, from like a tunneling perspective or something, it all looks fucking identical. He throws the changeup like 57% of the time. You love anomalies like this because if Jason Adam just walked off the street or, was knocking on your door, Jehovah's Witness, you wouldn't be surprised any more than he would if he was there to sign an autograph for a kid. So I love the point you make about the Tampa Rays. Real big point here, though. The biggest takeaway is for the first time all season, I really would understand if someone wanted to come in here and say, listen, little bit of static noise with the Rays this past week, little bit of funkiness coming out of the clubhouse. Let's get aggressive, shuffle it, and put somebody else first because we also have a history now on this show of being in front of some great fucking stories, guys. We've done it with plenty of teams we're going to talk about this week where we've said, hey, what about them this week? There's 3 teams, actually. There's going to be 3 teams in the power rankings where we flagged them like 2-3 weeks early. So if you wanted to get in front of the Braves now and say they're the best team in baseball, precedent is set. We're probably right anyways.
I got to give the Rays a little bit of respect here. They've had the crown for the entire season. It's not like they're playing badly at all. You're right, the Wander Franco stuff, but I don't know. I see that as almost kind of like a little, a little medal for them. I think that it was handled pretty well. I know they went public with it. Obviously, there's probably a reason. Obviously, this isn't Franco's first offense. And I didn't feel like there was too much blowback from the veterans in the clubhouse. Everyone seemed to be on the same page with that. So I don't know. I almost look at that as almost like a strength for them. I don't know. I agree, Carl. I think, it's always nice to get in front of stuff, but I also, until someone can really knock off the Rays, as long as if I have the number 1 pick, I'm going to go with them. Now, like I said, next week, the Braves rattle off 6 or 7. Maybe then we got to make a change.
Yeah. And they need McClanahan to be healthy. We've talked and complimented them about the fact that they have been able to win a ton of games, even with a heavy amount of pitching injuries. McClanahan's the one guy to me that they can't lose. And he left the Royals game with a back issue. Hopefully he's fine. So yeah, I think that this has kind of been coming for several weeks where the gap has been narrowed. At one point, it was the Rangers that were kind of narrowing it. Now it's kind of the Braves that are narrowing it. They are still the best team in baseball. And that Wander Franco situation, look, you went deep yesterday, so clearly it worked. And when you are a team that's as good and as comfortable where they are in the division as the Rays are, you can sit your best player. You can afford to do that. It ended up working out, at least for him. I know they did lose yesterday to the Royals. Jordan Lyles finally got a win in a Jordan Lyles start. But yeah, the best team in baseball. They have been all year and will be until proven otherwise.
One more thing for the Rays, why I have them at number 1. They have a harder schedule. That AL East is a juggernaut. There's no easy wins there. That gives me a little bit of an edge over the Braves, who do have the Nationals in their division. And I hate to say it, but even my Mets are, easy to kick around. So, the Rays have a harder road. So I'm going to give it to the Rays for one more week. Maybe we discuss it next week. Might change things.
Yep.
Excellent. So then can we just, Chris, you're up. I would imagine you're going to take the.
Yeah, you got to take the Braves. Look, there's issues I have with starting pitching depth. We know how good Bryce Elder has been, and we know how good guys like Morton and Strider are capable of being, though they've looked at points a little bit pedestrian. The reason why I can't put them why I couldn't put them one is I have serious concerns about who's closing games for them. I mean, they had AJ Minter closing games for a long time. His ERA is 5.05. Raisel Iglesias, who was incredible for them when they acquired him last year, his ERA is 4.79. Only blown 2 saves, but when we get deep into October, you want to have that lockdown guy. Wouldn't surprise me if they make a move at the deadline. Somebody like an Alex Line could potentially be available. We'll talk about that at another point. But the story of this team, I mean, this offense is historically good. Like if they end up finishing the job and winning this thing, we will talk about this offense as like one of the most stacked lineups that we've seen. And I think what makes the Rays so special is they identify talent as well as anybody. They have so many guys with it in their system or guys that they acquire who have career years in Atlanta. Like I remember I had to call somebody on the phone to find out this information last December, but I remember when they traded for Sean Murphy and I saw the haul that at the time that they gave up for him. And I remember talking to a buddy of mine saying, is Sean Murphy is he just like Oakland good or is he actually good? No, he's fucking great. He's got a 915 OPS as a catcher. And by the way, their backup catcher, technically Travis d'Arnaud, 839 OPS as a backup catcher. That's usually where you put your defense, your Jeff Mathis, who's just going to frame pitches and call a good game. I mean, everyone, they are 9, 10, 11 deep in terms of guys who can mash. And that offense is going to be a fucking nightmare to face in October. Championship pedigree, championship culture. These guys have played with each other for a long time. And I got to give a shout out as well to a guy who I feel like got a little bit overlooked because of the circumstances in which he was acquired. Matt Olson's having a monster year. Matt Olson might hit 50 home runs this year. He's got 24. We're not even halfway through the season. I think that there was so much talk about, a year ago at this time about, should they have let Freeman walk? Did they make the right move acquiring Olson? I remember telling people, dude, you're not going to forget Freddie Freeman, but Matt Olson's a top tier first baseman, both offensively and defensively. He's proved that fits super well as a power hitting lefty in that lineup. And of course you have Acuna, who's having an MVP caliber season. So I mean, just a remarkable bunch there. They're going to continue to win games and they're going to run away with that division.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's a Braves. Braves are very good. Keep an eye on the closer position. Yeah, they don't go on losing streaks. Be interesting to see them compete down the stretch without Dansby Swanson for the first time. And leadership emerging. So I like them a lot. There's no reason to dislike them. They're the clear-cut favorites to be the NL pennant winners, I believe. So
they have a 6-game lead in the East. They're setting themselves up very well again.
So then they've got time in the second half to find a closer. They've got assets to trade. Right. They're lucky. Fucking Braves fans. Brand new ballpark. I mean, they might have had like 1 year, I think, where they had to reset or.
They had a couple years they got.
Yeah, they've been awesome for so long.
Yeah.
Number 3's, I think, is still relatively easy. Now, I hate to do this. You talk about like historic offenses and all shit. Fucking the Braves are 3rd this year in runs scored. The first team's the Texas Rangers, 455 runs scored. The number 1 run differential is the Texas Rangers, 155. So, even though they're 4 games back of the Tampa Bay Rays for MLB lead, I just fucking hate how good they are, and I don't have a pitching staff to love right now. Like, I wish if I could sit here and stay in the Rangers and just, like, thump my chest. Now, Rangers experts are going to tell me to pound sand because of xWABA, FIP against, and ERA plus adjusted and all this shit. But I'm just telling you, I test. I don't love it. I mean, the lineup's so good, though.
I'll push back a little bit. You say eye test. I mean, as a stat guy, the eye test tells me that, look at the durability of the rotation, which is funny because we had Jacob deGrom in there earlier. But, Eovaldi, Perez, Gray, Heaney, they've all made 14 or more starts. So those are guys
but you're not, like, you just said Heaney. Like, I'm going eye test. You're like Heaney. I could say eye test. Here comes Dane Dunning. Like they're good. They're effective. Dane Dunning has 41 strikeouts in 71 innings and a sub-3 ERA. right? Like I'm saying,
right? Yeah, and the strikeouts.
I'm saying they're not like
the control is.
Bro. If I'm just poking one small hole. I'm telling you, they're they've destroyed everybody they've played. My one small hole is that, like, man, Martin Perez, wish you sure looked like Framber Valdez when you took the mound. You know, like
Right.
my
They
thing
don't
is
have
like,
an ace.
Andrew Heaney, like,
But they
you're
don't
like
have.
a poor man's Rich Hill in 2016.
No, they don't have that clear cut ace. But Bruce Bochy's ability to manage a pitching staff is huge here. Guys don't get hurt. Like the starting rotation, to have 4 guys make 14 or more starts, that's a bigger stat than almost any stat I can pull. Because few other teams can say that. Even the teams we talk about, the Braves, the Rays, the Dodgers, none of those guys have had guys fall apart left and right. DeGrom does get hurt, which everyone kind of not a shock there. They flip Dunning in right there, and he's been just as durable as those other 4 guys. And
yeah, so they're
huge.
They're durable. They're a punching bag. The starting pitching there is great. Jonathan Gray's been through career shit. Martin Perez has been through career shit. Andrew Heaney, Eovaldi. All those guys there have been through it and understand what they have in front of them. I think there's a special mix there. I love you bringing up Bruce Bochy right now. Yeah, you know what? If DeGrom was healthy, I would be. It's basically that. It's basically like, I know they're 3. I know that their lineup is so good. So that was just the one small hole, is like, eye test on the starting pitching staff. Because if you want to do the analytics, let's rock and roll, dude. These guys are all effective. They're out there every fucking day competing their balls off. They don't walk guys. They fucking balls in play. They got a great defense. Like, it is very easy to shut me down. I'm just saying, when I look at the starting pitching, I would, and this is such a meatball take, yeah, it'd be great if Jacob deGrom was healthy. Last thing, Corey Seager, OPS over 1,000, OPS plus 184. We talked a lot about him without the shift. He's backing it up. Marcus Semien, he's also awesome.
I mean, you have to give the front office there so much credit, because after 2021, it was a free-for-all of this crazy shortstop class. Obviously, Lindor had been extended, but you had Correa and Baez and Seager and Semien and Story. They got the 2 best ones on the same infield. I mean, they made the smart decision. They went out and got the best hitter, best hitting shortstop, maybe in baseball, in Corey Seager. And you got a guy in Semien who's putting together, a borderline MVP caliber season in his second year. I know he got off to kind of a rough start a year ago, but he's been great. They talk about a team that's had a very good eye for talent in free agency. I know that the DeGrom thing might be boom or bust, but I feel like rolling the dice on that still makes sense. If that would have worked out, nobody would be complaining. He's just had the injury issues. I do, in your defense, Carl, understand what you're saying about the pitching, where I think Eovaldi's great, and I've seen Eovaldi pitch high leverage, big game innings. But there's a difference between a rotation that's capable of winning a division and a rotation that's capable of winning a World Series. Like, I like Martin Perez and Heaney and John Gray. Do I like them in a game 2, 3, 4 situation in the ALCS? A little bit different. So I do get what you're saying, but for the time being, the offense has been mashing. It seems like the bullpen's got figured out a little bit. Will Smith's, been serviceable as their closer there. So there's a few issues, but they are a deep team. And as you brought up, Klemmer, Bochy managed the bullpen incredibly well, and that will matter so much come October. So they're in a very good spot right now.
Will Smith is like a veteran closer. Mm-hmm. He's a fun. If look at the stat cast for the starting pitchers, like pull Dane Dunning, pull up Andrew Heaney, like that's the stuff that like backs up the eye test. I'm not talking about the statistics. I'm saying, like, a lot of these guys exit velocities against and fucking spin rates, and it's impressive that they are
just starters. Like, go look at the 4th and 5th starters of the fucking Rays or the Braves. Those teams are really good.
Oh.
But I get what John Gray.
John Gray, Martin Perez.
Eovaldi's going to be in the top 10 Cy Young voting this year.
Eovaldi's the one exception. I love Eovaldi, but John Gray's peripherals are but as good as his numbers are worse than they were in Colorado. It's strange. But he's been very effective.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay, what's up?
So you mentioned before the season, or right when Seager got hurt, you're like, hey, watch out for him with the shift. When you take the shift away, this guy's gonna get some hits. Quick one here. Batting average. Last year he batted 245. This year he's batting 354.
Jesus.
That's a 100-point increase. You don't see that. That doesn't happen in baseball. So, Carl, you're absolutely right. And you look at his stuff before this shift became more and more in play. He was a 300 hitter, never 354, but 302, 306, 290. They started really implementing the shift, and last year you saw it dramatically. And his average took a dip. He's still a very good player last year. This year, 354. He might win the batting title.
Yeah,
a shortstop.
Run away with it.
He's huge. He's a centaur. I know Alex Rodriguez has 2 paintings of himself as a centaur, but Corey Seager actually should go get that third because those legs.
Yeah.
I like seeing Bruce Bochy manage a good team. All right, who's up for Klemmer?
It's me. This is the middle of my picks here are tough. The bottom of them are wild, and you guys might hate me, but I don't think you guys will hate me for this one just yet. Number 4, I have the Orioles.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean the Orioles. I say
big drop off. Big drop off, 3 to the rest.
Big drop off,
right?
Big drop off.
That's what I have. I have in my notes because everybody else has 1, 2, 3 have like plus 120, 30-ish run differentials, and then it just boom right down to like 30, 40. I'm sorry to cut you off.
I agree, Carl. It's a big drop off. I have some concerns. I mean, positives. Gunnar Henderson's really becoming a significant bat in the lineup. He's slugging 460. His OPS plus is 124. Obviously, Adley Rutschman's having a good year. We expected that. Cedric Mullins. These are guys that you kind of expect to be good. But even so, they're 5th in the American League in runs, 6th in on-base percentage. And the pitching is no better. They're 10th in ERA in pitching in the American League. So it's only 15 teams. It's not good. But I will say this, as much as I've knocked them, and if I give the Rangers credit for being durable, I got to give the Orioles credit. Kyle Gibson, Dean Kramer, Tyler Wells, Kyle Bradish all have 13 or more starts. And, you got, at this point in the season, you got to respect that. You got to respect these 4 guys are going out there. And because of that, the Orioles are on pace for 100 wins. So, I mean, I know that they're in second place, the Rays. I know that a lot of the analytics don't make sense. I don't think they're going to win 100 games this year. But could they win 90 plus and make the playoffs? I think that's almost a certainty. Unless there's some huge collapse, which you never know. With young teams, that can happen. But Brandon Hyde is doing an awesome job with them. And that team is so well managed. They were so well managed last year, too. And then obviously they have, like we talked about the show a bunch, Cano and Bautista. They have the best 8th, 9th inning guys in all of baseball right now. So, I'm fine with the Orioles at 4. I hope you guys are as well.
I am too.
Yep.
Yeah, I have no complaints about that. I feel like since the beginning, because you and I Klemmer were both not that high on him coming into the season. I think we've been waiting for something of a collapse, and I do think there will be at some point something of a downturn. But who cares? Right now they're riding high. That offense is pesky as hell, and that's a great point you bring up about the durability of the rotation, because we could talk about the effectiveness of these guys all we want, but they're still major league pitchers, and it's a million times better than the alternative of having to go to AAA to find guys when you have, Kramer or any one of these guys potentially on the IL. The best ability.
And these guys aren't bad.
No, they've been fine.
The OPS, ERA plus 97, 93, 129, 108. So they're going to keep you in games. They're going to, the ace, I guess, of the staff is Tyler Wells. I don't think he has ace stuff. He doesn't. No. I mean, his strikeouts, 88 Ks, 86 innings is good, but I don't think he's incredibly effective. Like Carl said, the eye test, I watch him. I'm like, there's nothing special here. But those 4 guys are going to go out there and they're going to give you, quality starts or close to it, at least what we consider quality starts now in the majors, and keep you in games. And then you have the 8th, 9th guys to lock it down. It's a good recipe. It works.
It is. And they're going to try to shorten games if and when they get to October. They need a good deadline. They're the one. I've said it a million times. They're the one team, and they scare me because they're the one team who I feel like is going to get to the edge of the pool and be afraid to jump in. Like, you can do this year with the right moves. Now, I'm not saying, trade fucking Gunnar Henderson for Marcus Stroman, but you have a deep enough system where you can acquire enough pieces to. I mean, look with the injuries the Rays have. Why not go and make a run at the East? Like I think that the core is there. They just got to add a few more pieces. But for the time being, this year's been nothing but an overwhelming success for Baltimore.
I agree. I'm sorry I'm laughing because I got to pick next, and I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, I can't believe I'm about to do this.
The bottom of my list gets ugly and weird, so.
Like, oh, you guys are going to hate me. Okay, I should say, Orioles, they are going to break they're going to break our hearts.
Yeah, I kind of worry about that too.
The trade deadline. Like, that's a guarantee, I think. I think they're going to make either a really shitty move. Klemmer, you're really good at naming a guy that has, like, who's a shitty pitcher that you can see the Orioles acquiring and being
like Jack Flaherty in a walk year. Like, boom. Throws way too many walks, and then, he's just going to, watch. He'll start game 3 of the playoffs, and he'll walk 8 guys, and that's how they lose. Something like that.
I can hear the Joe Davis call as he's like explaining the big trade pickup for the Orioles this year. Okay, I'm up 5 here. I'm up 5. And I put a whole ton of stock in how well you're playing. And this isn't just this past week or the past 2 weeks. If you go back to the second week of May, the San Francisco Giants have not lost back-to-back games just twice. They're 4th in baseball or 5th in baseball in run differential. They're 9-1 over their last 10. They're winning baseball games in every single way. They've swept the Cardinals. They swept the Dodgers. They took a 4-game series from the Padres. Now they've taken a series from the Diamondbacks. So there's a couple teams in there, I should just say, recently between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks where they've just fucking pasted those dudes, then ran the Padres into the ground. So, like, right now they're the best team in the NL West. And right now,
I have no problem with this. I had them 6th.
They just beat everybody they fucking played. So if you're going to tell me if you're going to sit here and tell me that the Diamondback, they're taking the series from them right now as we talk. Boom, done. Giants, hot, 5th overall. Yeah, Klemmer, issues?
I have the Diamondbacks slightly ahead, but same. Carl, the way you laid it out is absolutely right. The Giants, and honestly, if the Giants will play the Diamondbacks right now in a playoff series, I put money on the Giants. They're like Carl said, they're unbeatable. They've been unbeatable for a long time. And, this is a team, I know we all say, they're so bad. They won 500 last year. The year before that, they won, 107 games? And they have a true ace. I think Logan Webb is a legitimate ace. So, the Giants are very dangerous. Jock Peterson's having a good year. Conforto's been a nice pickup for them. Who else? Estrada's been good for them. Lamonte Wade Jr. has an on-base percentage over 400. So you look at this team, and you're like, shit, there's some guys here that can really do some damage. I like the Giants a lot. I think they're very, very, very dangerous.
Yeah, I had them at 5, but they're playing as well as anybody right now, and have, as you brought up, Carl, since the early part of May. The offense is so interesting because it's top to bottom. It's a difficult lineup to navigate through, and yet there's no stars. I mean, there's really good players. Like Jock Peterson's an excellent player. Conforto's a good hitter, but there's not that one huge 950 OPS guy in the middle of the lineup. But they control the strike zone really well as a team. They draw walks, they get on base, and that's reflected in their pitching staff as well. They throw a ton of strikes. They just find a way to revive guys' careers. Like, I know he hasn't been amazing this year, but look at what DeScalfani's done since he's gotten there. We know how good Logan Webb is. Alex Wood got popped yesterday, but he's given him some good starts. You're taking some guys off the scrap heap, putting them in the bullpen.
Look at JD Davis.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's
former Met. He's having a borderline All-Star season.
They've done a great job and we've talked about it in the past as well. Sometimes your biggest curse can be a blessing. That whole, hey, we missed out on Aaron Judge, we missed out on Carlos Correa, but it allowed us to add Conforto and go out and get a few more pieces that bolstered our depth. And it's led to them putting together an incredibly successful campaign. They just strike me as an organization, even in their down years, where everyone is kind of on the same page. It seems like Gabe Kapler thinks in a similar mindset to the way the front office does, to the way the players do. And they've had a lot of late game heroics as well. Yeah, I mean, I have the Diamondbacks ahead of them just because I think the overall resume and the fact that the Diamondbacks have that 1-2 punch of Gallen and Merrill Kelly to start a playoff series is a little bit more enticing, though Kelly did get, beat up by the Giants the other day. But yeah, they've played great, and they've emerged, and they've done it kind of quietly, just winning series and taking care of business and not beating themselves. It's been a fantastic story. Good for them.
You know who needs to pitch better for them? Sean Manaea.
Yeah.
He needs to do better. He's one of the guys they went and got with when the Correa deal didn't happen, especially with Cobb being on the IL. They need Manaea he's been horrible, and he needs to really get his shit together because they're going to need that extra arm in the second half of the season.
Yeah.
It's not Ross Stripling. You don't want to shit on him, Klemmer, real quick?
Shit him all. He's awful. I mean, he's beyond horrible. He's hurt. He can't do any better. I mean, he's been a disaster too. Those two guys stink this year. They got to play better.
Manaea's numbers are ugly, but as a reliever in 11 appearances, 4.40 ERA, which isn't great, but he's got a WHIP just above 1. That's good. 38 strikeouts in 28 2/3 innings. So there's something to work with there. As a starter, he's been a disaster. 6 starts, ERA 7.54, WHIP of 1.8. Like I think that his calling will be long relief, and that's fine. They've done the same thing they've done that with him. They've done it with guys like Jacob Junis. Like, I didn't fucking know Jacob Junis was still in the league, but they keep assembling and putting this pieces together. I'm not sure what their farm system looks like, but they've become a team that I think is poised to make a run at the deadline. And if they add pitching, I mean, they are a pitching factory there in terms of developing guys and reviving careers, and that's a good park for pitchers to pitch in. They could become even more dangerous in a few weeks.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, it's a good pick, huh?
It is. See, we didn't hate it at all.
You know? And this is one thing I want to stress it before I turn over for the 6th pick is like I am, and I do put a preference. If we're going to sit down and do this weekly, then I want to weigh the prior week's momentum appropriately because I think it just, if you've paid attention to the Giants, they're a fucking steam train since mid-May. Since mid-May, we could rank them first or second, So that's important to me. 6. Who's picking 6?
That's me, right? I believe.
Or wait, did we just pick 6?
No, nope. you got Giants at 5.
Wait, did I jump the gun?
No. I don't believe so.
Wait a minute. Who picked first? Was that?
I did.
Right. So then Klemmer had 4, and then Carl. Yep. Oh, I guess technically that might.
Castellani goes 6. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's not gonna.
Right. Thank you. And honestly,
man, I just ran that down our throats. I'm sorry. I got a little too aggressive there with the Giants. All right, Castellani.
But you know what? It's perfect because honestly, at this point, 5 and 6 are interchangeable for me. I think that the Diamondbacks and Giants are essentially even at this point. I'd probably give a slight edge to the Dbacks, but just because of overall resume. But really, we're splitting hairs at this point. The Diamondbacks are having a wonderful, wonderful season. Everything we've talked about with them, all the positives continue to be positive. Zach Gallen is tremendous, putting up, I would say not even dark horse. I mean, he's going to be an all-star, but potential Cy Young campaign. Bullpen's kind of stabilized itself. Andrew Chafin's been good. They've kind of done closer by committee there, and for the most part, it's worked. It's a tremendous offense. I mean, it is a very difficult offense to pitch to. You have righties you can hit for power. You have lefties that can hit for power. I think that their question mark in many ways is the rotation depth beyond Gallen and Kelly. I think that they're another team that's they don't need to splurge, but add just a nice, 3-4 starter at the deadline. Because right now, your number 3 best starter, and shout out to this guy, Michigan alumni, was the best pitcher for them in the College World Series run. Tommy Henry's made some good starts for him as a kind of a crafty lefty there, but even his FIP is in the 5s. Beyond that, it's been a very fun group to watch. I guess my one concern, and I feel this way about the Orioles a little bit too, though I think the Orioles benefit from the fact that they're in a wild card race as opposed to a divisional race. You're playing in a division with the Dodgers, with the Giants. These are two teams that very recently have made runs through the postseason. The Giants, I know, lost in the NLDS, but they won 107 games 2 years ago. They have a lot of veteran players like Jack Peterson who have made World Series runs, and of course the Dodgers are full of veterans that have made deep postseason runs in the past. I do have some concern with this young team and this young core. As we get deeper into the season, the light's getting a little bit too bright. Well, we've seen, I feel that way with the Orioles as well, but I think the Orioles are in a more comfortable spot in that wild card. I think the Diamondbacks' goal should be let's win the fucking division. Let's get one of the top seeds in the postseason, and guarantee ourselves home playoff games. But that's down the road. Right now I'm not concerned about that. They've done nothing but be effective all year. They've been a fun group. I think Lovello's done a great job managing that young core. I've really enjoyed watching them kind of ascend this year, and they have right now one of the 10 best players in baseball, and he's a fucking rookie. So it's been a remarkable run for Arizona.
They have a shortstop named Geraldo Perdomo. Perdomo.
This is why we don't talk about him on the show, because I can't say his name either, Klemmer. I've been trying to talk about him for months.
Here's what I do know. I don't know how to say his name. I'm sorry. He's batting 190. Last year he batted 195. He had a slugging of 262 last year. On base at 285. Terrible.
Yeah.
This year, 297 batting average, a 401 on base, a 458 slugging. He's only 23. You see this happen sometimes. Some guys just kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
And maybe having that support of having a Corbin Carroll in the lineup, having that leadership in the clubhouse with someone like Longoria, and the team just playing better. And also him just maybe working his ass off in the offseason, figuring stuff out, having a guy like Gurriel in there who's also taking some of the pressure off. This guy is just a clear example of why the Diamondbacks have kind of leveled up. I mean, when you have a shortstop, same with Corey Seager, both guys, you have a shortstop that improves their batting average by 100 points. You're going to do something special that year, and they are. The Diamondbacks look great. Think about it. You have this one guy, this Geraldo Perdomo. We haven't even talked about it all in this show. That's how many success stories the Diamondbacks have. This is a really fun team to watch. This is a team I'm personally rooting for. In the West, I don't know. I just love Zach Gallen. I love Corbin Carroll. I hope they can pull it off.
It's this Perdomo.
Yeah, I think
kid,
if you expect them to come down, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no. So I was this Perdomo kid. I'm looking at his Baseball Savant page right now. This really is an incredible season he's having. He is in the first percentile. Keep in mind, for the layman out there, you want to be in the upper percentile. This isn't golf. He is in the first percentile in average exit velo, hard hit rate, slugging, expected slugging, and barrel percentage. But he does not chase. He's in 95th percentile in whiff rate, 97th percentile in chase rate, 82nd, that's defensively, but 91st in walk rate. It just goes to show how impossible baseball is to predict. There ain't a single fucking soul in the world who probably hadn't even heard of this kid, let alone expected him to be a key piece of their offense this season. But that's what good teams and good organizations do. They find guys that fit in well within their lineup, within their core of players, and now all of a sudden you have a shortstop. Good for them.
He was a top 100 prospect for 3 years.
Was he really?
Yeah. I mean, I hate to do that, but he's 20. The reason he played 148 games last year with 60 OPS plus. There's really, at some level, AAA is 2 levels below the big leagues. You can't get better anymore at AAA. So you just see these guys, Zeke Tovar I know people call him Ezekiel. Just do fucking Zeke for me. With the Rockies is a great example of it. But I think the broader point is it's how can you fly under the radar? It's crazy to think that you can fly under the radar still, because that's exactly what this guy's done by evidence of this conversation. He's flying under the radar. He's playing great. He's behind Ketel Marte in the fucking conversation and Corbin Carroll and all that stuff. And even though they're awesome.
And he probably shouldn't have been in the majors last year. He was rough.
Well,
but you know what though? Some of these bad teams do that, and then you get those reps, you get those at bats, you learn what it's like to be a major leaguer, and then you can level up that much quicker. So it's kind of a you have to have, we talked about it, Carl, on the National League show, you have to have that mental toughness to be able to overcome failure. And I got to give a guy like Perdomo a ton of credit because, like Carl said, he was a top prospect for a while. And then he comes to majors. The only thing he got the league in last year was sacrifice hits, which is never usually the greatest thing in the world to lead the league It's not bad, but like you said, he had an OPS plus of 58 last year, and then he's able to work on the things he needs to work on. Doesn't let that bring him down. He's only 23. Comes in on base with 401. Good for him.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that they also have the I think the Diamondbacks also have one of the top middle infield prospects, Jordan Lawler. He's a double-A guy.
Yes.
Their
farm system is deep, even without Carroll, is deep because they've been bad for so long. They have a pretty legit. They have some. If they want to make some moves this deadline, they have some tools
for sure. Well, let's.
Perdomo is Dominican too, which is good. You like that? I like to see the when you can build a farm system. Yeah, you want to trade, you want to draft, and you want to international sign. In your draft, you want to get guys at the top, and then you want to be able to find one every couple of years in those later rounds that can at least have some kind of impact. And so for him to be a Dominican, sign, success right away, that also kind of gives your international system a little fucking boost there, right? So then the kids in the Dominican see Perdomo wearing the hat, coming back being like, ooh, I like them because they do have choice with who they sign. There is no draft there. So all this shit works for me.
And it also shows they have good scouting. Like whoever scouted Perdomo, whoever's doing it, right. Whoever is scouting their Dominican or their international areas is doing a good job. And that would tell me, all right, I got the right guys in place. Let's go.
So far we have Rays 1, Braves 2, Rangers 3, Orioles 4, Giants 5, Diamondbacks 6. Really the caveat there, Giants, I jumped the gun. That was a fuck up. I'm sorry. Do we want to take a minute here now and just calibrate? Say, I don't want to put the Diamondbacks ahead of the Giants based on how well the Giants are playing, the fact the Giants could sweep them today. But if you guys wanted to, I will consider it. I will argue with you about it, but I'll consider it.
I think the argument you made about how well they've played since, I mean, not just this week, but since May, I think there's an ascension there with the Giants that continues. So I have no problem. I mean, again, it's splitting hairs. I have no problem putting them at 5. Yeah, I think that there's a sound logic behind that argument.
Okay. We get to 7. Onward march. Klemmer.
This is where it's going to get really interesting to me. Yeah.
You guys are going to hate me and think you guys might melt down here, but I'm going to say my pick and then we can fight about it. Okay. My number 7 pick is the Chicago Cubs.
What?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Explain. I need an explanation.
They're really good. They've been really good for a while now. And not only that, they have the best pitcher in their division. They have a great 1-2-3. Stroman, I don't like the guy at all personally. If I saw him walking down the street, I walk the other way. I don't like Marcus Stroman. Seems like a bad guy. Stroman has been an ace this year. He's in the Cy Young discussion. Justin Steele's been very good. He was coming back from injury. Drew Smiley's been very decent. And then you have a guy like Tyon who's pitching better. But they've been winning. They're in a weak division. And I know everyone's thinking Reds, and that's great. We can talk about the Reds in a bit, and we will. But the Cubs are doing some things. They're almost at 500. They're only a game under right now. They play in a pretty weak division. I think they'll be able to feast on that. Their lineup is surprisingly deep. Ever since Bellinger's been back from the IL, they've been playing better. He's a real key to them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, a month ago, I was looking at the Cubs roster. I'm like, who could they trade? Maybe get some prospects back. But at this point, Cubs are pretty good.
Can I say? Let me help here.
Go ahead.
No, because I mean, they won a series at home against the Rays. Then they went on the road. They split a series of 4-game against San Diego. They're also the last team to take a series from the Giants. Then they swept the Pirates. Then they took a series at home against the Orioles. They swept the Pirates again. And now they have a lead against the Cardinals as we record this. They could sweep them. Since June 1st, I want to say they're like the 4th best team in baseball.
They've won 8 of their last 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now here's okay. Now we talked about this last week. You brought him up, and I said, "Listen, here's the thing: is they're going to trade Marcus Stroman." Right. That's what and so and it would take some sort of extended miracle. The player you want to talk about is Christopher Morel, and I owe an apology to Cubs fans. And so this is where we really get in the weeds, and I don't want to, but I'll do it because we have to, because you're putting him here 7. Christopher Morel is a very explosive infielder. He's kind of split stats. Peripherals look like Javi Baez when he came up, but he's not Javi Baez. He plays a bunch of positions. Yeah, we're not talking. Okay. Yeah. So Morel is delayed in AAA for a number of reasons, and they had signed. When they brought in Bellinger, then that slows down Morel. When they bring in Swanson, that slows down Morel, and when they break camp with Wisdom at third, that slows down Morel. Mm-hmm. And so there were some issues about like why the fuck like go have Wisdom play first base, have this guy go play third base, and basically a lot of Cubs fans at camp had wanted Morel up badly, and there were other Cubs fans, people like me, that were like, he's only going to be good for like a fucking 70-game stretch. You don't want to use that stretch early. You don't want to burn him in April. Just wait. All this dude's done since he's come up, he's hitting third now for the Cubs in London. I should say this. He's absolutely torching the ball. If you're a fantasy guy, I'm sure you've won countless matchups if you've picked him up since he's come up. He's fucking awesome. And he's really the number one reason why that lineup's been so good, because when you signed Dansby Swanson, you were not expecting him to put up like prolific offensive numbers. You need him to play every day. And Nico Horner, same thing, like take advantage of the rule break, but you don't need to be this fucking superstar. The idea is that like you guys just be high quality players, and then someone's going to get hot. It's a good lineup for guys to get hot. Morel's got 13 home runs and a 971 OPS in 35 games.
Yeah. He's slugging what?
So,
he's slugging
630, yeah, 640. By the end of this week, maybe 1,000. Who fucking knows? So, he's red hot. And that's a great fucking thing. Now, there's other good players around him. The pitching staff, can you talk about the pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, first off, their Pythagorean is 41 and 34. So They're good. And the 8 of 9 games they've won, they're blowing teams out. They're not winning by 1 run. They're just annihilating teams. Like I said, Stroman, Smiley, Steele. That's a decent 1, 2, 3 to have in the playoffs. And then Tyon, I know this is fool's gold for me, but I know he can pitch better than this. He's been horrible this year. I know he can do better. I like this guy a lot. And there's nothing about him I'm seeing when I watch him that makes me think he's broken forever. So I think he can improve. And if he can improve and even just pitch the way he did last year for that second half, this team's going to win the division. This NL Central stinks. I know the Reds are very good right now, and they're exciting as hell to play. We can get them in a second. They have a huge Achilles heel that is going to expose the hell out of them. But the bullpen for the Cubs has been pretty decent. By the way, the Cubs, 3rd in the National League in ERA. The Cubs are a good baseball team. And I knew that this pick might shock some people, surprise some people. People are going to think if they look at it, Carl picked it because it's good. No, it's me. I'm taking. I'll own this. It's me.
I'll still get slaughtered in the comments, anyways, but that's fine. I welcome. I invite it. Come and fucking get it, boys. I'm not going to argue with you though, because they have been extremely hot. They're 13-7 in June. The teams that they've beat, the series they've won, they've been outstanding. And there's nothing to really say against it. Hey, Kyle Hendricks, they're 4-1 in Kyle Hendricks' last 5 starts.
That's the other guy. Got Hendricks going too. He comes back. I'm going to say this right now. If you think the Cubs aren't good, you're not paying attention. But this month, they've been good.
That's not the argument, though. The argument is, are they the 7th best team in Major League Baseball right now? I'm with you.
But that's not what we're put. That's not what. I mean, like the 7th best team in Major League Baseball. I mean, like. This is when you're going to say the Astros, right? You're going to say because the Astros won the World Series last year and they've got Yordan Alvarez.
No, because the Astros are playing like shit right now. But I mean, are the Cubs more deserving of that spot than another team in their own division? I mean, than the Reds? I mean, the Reds, what the fuck are the Reds supposed to? They won 12 in a row. How are they not?
That's great.
And I get
the Reds, that's gonna end soon. The Reds,
but it hasn't yet.
They're not going to win 12 in a row. Right, I get that. But their pitching staff is such a disaster. It is a disaster. It's going to implode on them. I know it's a fun fairy tale and it's
Right.
nice and Andrew Abbott is a legit pitcher. The rest of that rotation is such a nightmare. And it cannot last. It will not last. I will stake everything I know in baseball on this. This pitching staff is going to just completely implode unless they make moves quick. Maybe they will. I hope they do. But there's not enough there.
Bad. It's so
It is.
bad.
No, look,
I can't even put a nice thing together about it. Alexis Diaz is good.
He's very good.
He's good as he's been very good.
And Andrew Abbott's very good. And Ellie De La Cruz is sensational. And Matt McClain, they have some cool things about this team. But you cannot win in the major leagues with one starting pitcher. It doesn't happen.
But they've been doing it.
The 1972 Phillies had Steve Carlton win 27 games. He won the fucking Cy Young that year, and they still finished in last place. You need more than one starting pitcher.
All right, so I'm fine with the Cubs 7.
Sure.
Castellani, if you want to go 8.
Okay, well, the thing is, some fan base is going to be really pissed off here, right? Because somebody's going to be left off the list. I am, and I think a lot of people expect me to go with the Reds here, and the Reds were on my 9 for the record. But
me too.
I'm going to go with a team that we can point out a million different flaws. I'm not going to act like they aren't there, but they just keep doing the damn thing, and that's the Miami Marlins. We can, and I get it. We can talk about run differential all we want. There's holes in the roster. Alcantara hasn't been that great. In fact, at points he's been a disaster this year. That's fine. They just keep winning. And to a certain extent, I'm not, and maybe in the long run, I'll be proven very wrong with this. I'm not a huge run differential believer. Like, I understand, of course, the more games you win, the more runs you want to score. I get it. But I also think there's really something to be said about a team that is capable of winning a ton of close games. Because when you get to October, you're not going to have a whole lot of 12-7 slugfest. It's going to be a lot of 5-3, 3-2, 3-1 ball games. And the Marlins have won a heavy amount of those. The offense has been extremely effective, especially the top of that order. Soler's had a monster year. Arise is still hitting 400, which is just incredible to say. We're almost halfway through the season. We talk about that rotation. Yuri Perez has, an arm that's seemingly sculpted by the gods. He's come up. He's been an ace right away. I know they've had a lot of comeback wins. They've had a lot of close wins, but the bullpen's been able to hold games down. They're, 10, 11 games above 500 right now. I mean, even if they have a skid here, they're still going to be in the thick of things in the wild card race. I understand it's a tough division, but to me, like, I get what you're saying about the Cubs, but I think so much of what the Cubs may do here is based on what you think they're going to do, not what they've done up to this point. They are still a team, and I'm fine with the roster. They are still a team that's a game below 500. The Marlins, they're kind of in the position the Marlins were maybe a month ago, where we said, okay, there's some pieces there, but we need to see them get hot. Well, they've gotten hot and they've stayed hot. They are comfortably in second in that division right now in the hunt for the wild card spot. I've been nothing but impressed by them, and right now, and who knows, trades over time, opinions can change on them. The Luis Arraez trade is looking like one of the truly great fleeces of the last decade. And I don't even hate Pablo Lopez, but like, he's hitting 400. Like, he has been the spark plug that they have been wanting there forever. You have to give Kim Ng, their GM, so much credit for pulling the trigger on that. It's a well-assembled roster. Will it last and be a team that I think fights for a World Series? No, but that's not what we're ranking here. We're ranking the 9 teams that are playing the best right now. They absolutely belong on the list. I had them at 7. We'll put them at 8 on this list right now. I think they've been very impressive.
19-5 in one-run games.
That's insane.
That's great until it's I mean, it's like it's almost fucking lucky.
Carl and I did a deep dive on the Marlins in the National League show, so if people want to hear what Marlins talk, go check that out. I think it was a pretty good discussion, I thought, Carl.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Listen, Jesus Luzardo's the fucking nastiest pitcher nobody even knows about. 6 foot 210, looks like a fucking prize fighter. Guy throws gas, cheddar. Okay, 9. I mean, yeah, I like the Marlins here. 8. No arguments here. They are going to go down a little bit. That's just the way it is. Cubs were 10-18 in May, 10-18, 13-7 in June. And again, Klemmer picked up, not me.
I did. I own it.
Hey, all right. This final pick is also brought to you by the National League show because we're going to talk about Citizens Bank Ballpark this week. I'm very excited to do that. Just before I make this pick, you are going back for another game at Citizens Bank. Mets, Phillies. We were texting yesterday. I was so happy to see your tweet about the Phillies Circle of Champions and Hall of Fame stuff. It really makes me happy.
Awesome.
Quick ballpark review. We're going to do deep dive Wednesday, but
Yeah, we'll do deep dive Wednesday. This has moved up my third best park that I've been to. I haven't been to all of them. Been to a lot. And I think Camden Yards is still my favorite. PNC is incredible. This is right there in that third spot. One thing that people don't talk about is not only the history and stuff, but the field of play. Now, it rained like hell on Friday. That park looked immaculate. I don't know how the ground. They must have the best groundskeeper in baseball. And then yesterday, it rained all night. You go there, and it's beautiful. And this is with the tarp over the infield. That warning track was immaculate. I walked around the whole park yesterday. I looked at the grass. That groundskeeper, and then you got the Philly fanatic doing crazy shit on that moped, on that crazy thing he runs around on. That must kick the shit out of the grass. This groundskeeper is incredible. So props that guy. That park could not have looked better. Beautiful day at the ballpark. Beautiful stadium. Citizens Bank Ballpark. We'll talk more about it on Wednesday, but I love it.
Yeah, and the sentiment, the aesthetic sentiment of it feels so much smaller. The game feels like the dimensions are the same. Obviously, the dimensions are the same, but it's a beautiful visual when a baseball field looks and feels smaller. And I think the bank does that well. Great architecture. Okay, number 9. We're going to stay in the National League here, guys. We are going to take the Cincinnati Reds. No fucking way we're publishing a top 9 without Cincinnati on it. Hubs might do a coup anyways because the Cubs are ahead of the Reds here. I have to be ready for this.
I'll see him on Monday in the office or whenever I see him next. He'll yell at me, I'm sure.
Well, at the time of recording, the Cubs are tied 4-4 against the Cardinals here, top 4 in the London series, which I could, again, do without entirely. It's just kind of a bit of a distraction. Wasn't going to get in the way of a great podcast this morning, though.
They're going to do it next year, too, Carl. It's Mets Phillies next year. 2 games in London. I'm not happy about it.
You and Frank should take an ocean line cruiser, cross the Atlantic.
That would be fantastic.
Do they do that? Put him on an oil tanker. Okay. I'm taking the Cincinnati Reds. You guys can talk shit about their starting rotation in just uno momento because Matt McClain is everything that you want, and so is Ellie De La Cruz, and what a great dynamic. And Spencer Steer, they came over from the Tyler Mahle trade last year. Dude just mashes. Dude's ready to play.
Sellout on Friday night. They had a sellout on Saturday night. Another guy to talk about is Joey Votto. 5 games back. He has 3 home runs already. No, I mean, there's so many things if you're a Reds fan to be excited about. I'm going to shit on their pitching staff in a second, but their lineup is fun. If you're a Reds fan, enjoy this. Enjoy this ride. It's awesome. I'm so glad to see you guys are still at that ballpark. Ellie De La Cruz hits for the cycle. I think they only the 7th time in Reds history. And he's been in the major leagues for like less than a month.
2 weeks.
He's awesome. There's nobody faster home to third right now in all of baseball. So he's going to be a triples machine. Enjoy this. This is fun. But